Phew. Phew, I noticed that the video is at 14 minutes, so I was able to shut it down. So that one could go up to YouTube if I decide to. So if you're doing the developing a machine mind playlist, sorry, it's going to be choppy until I get a video editor and someone to handle my, um, uploading to YouTube and all that stuff. Uh, I'm hiring. So if I get somebody who wants to do that, I never ask anybody to do anything they don't want to do. Okay? That's axiomatic to my nature. Um, Fault tolerance, self-learning, exception handling. Exception handling's big. It's you got to have exception handling in your system design, or you're an incompetent systems developer in my book. And it's usually so poorly done. There was a one of the geekish programmer jokes is the difference between an amateur program and a professional program. And what the difference is the most basic program or skeleton code is basically just to get the program to display hello world, although I prefer hello mom with an exclamation point. Um, and you got to get to the point where you can see that, right? So the system's working now. You've got something going. It'll say something. It'll output something. We're not talking input and such yet here. So exception handling. I've covered some of why it's so important. Um, Self-learning. We've gotten to how the machine can know or think it knows. Again, understanding and knowledge. We think we've got understanding and knowledge. Do we really? Um, there's no pure facts in existence. I said it. Let's see. Exception handling, learning, knowledge, machine mind. Yeah, that's a big part of it because an AI has to be trained. And again, garbage in, garbage out. The current AIs, they go to big data, which is usually social media driven. And so, wow, I guess that means it's outputting garbage. I guess that's saying that the bulk of social media is garbage. Does that mean many people are garbage? Well, of course, MAGA is garbage, but aside from that, just in general, can people be garbage? So, garbage collection and garbage filtering. Now, in filtering out garbage, say some user has done some toshing, going in nonsense to see what the AI says about it, and the machine mind is highly suspect that it's Tosh. So, what does it do? Well, it doesn't let it into the system, first of all. But where I'm going with this is maybe instead of just deleting it or ignoring it, maybe it should be stored in some place where it can be referred to as the machine learns. One of the things it does is it reviews such nonsense for the case where it might get to the point of saying, oh, this isn't as much nonsense. It's starting to make sense to me. I don't fully understand it, but it's starting to make sense to me. So bring it back in and reassess it. And do you let it through now? Because it wasn't nonsense after all. Or garbage collecting, which a lot of, saying, okay, this thing's like 2 years old. I've never had to use it. Maybe it really is nonsense or it doesn't have value to me. So let's clear it out of the system. Let's delete it. See, if you don't have garbage collection and house cleaning, your system inherently is going to snowball. It's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And eventually it's going to fail because systems development is about systems design, is about constraining the system as much as you can. So often those constraints are by developers that don't, well, what happened a lot with like uh, mainframe programming, COBOL and Fortran and such, was that the programmers really weren't thinking that their program would still be used 40 years later, 30 years later. The millennium was where this really was big. It was the millennium because they thought the old programs didn't account for the year 2000 and therefore it would break them. And a lot of COBOL mainframe systems are financial software. Um, so, so that's a problem. Why my designs, I try to leave them very open, scalable, and extensible. Now, one way you do that is by subsystems, actually, making, or what might be called nodes in our network context. Um, so you've got your nice terse system that only does what it's supposed to do. But distributed decentralizations, there's thousands of servers out there running uh, worlds with artificial beings living their lives. I'm very big on the concept of RNG, RPG. So our little agents are role playing being beings, right? Um, and that provides the effect of culling off mutation and arriving at stuff that we never even imagined. See, a machine mind should be able to take us into areas that we never even imagined. That's the holy grail. That's the oh, never mind the 20th century paradigm crap of current AI and current billionaires and all that shit. And it is shit. Um, can we use it as fertilizer then? Yeah, maybe there's an idea. Can we compost it and make it into fertilizer? I don't know. Um, let's go back up because what we're really talking about is self learning. Because self learning is huge. If we can crack that, so to speak, we've got it. We can make a machine mind. Okay? It's true. In my belief, it's true. But don't minimize the amount of resources and projects and work effort to get to that point. This is where I might be willing to work with Google or something if they like say, okay, we'll send you 100 developers to implement your design. I might we might be able to negotiate to where I say, okay, yeah, I'll accept that, and you get a share of our output or whatever to apply to your own systems. But the whole green terror myrrh idea is that we own it all, and we profit from it. We take that money and we put it into things based on the idea of compassion. How can we apply this extra money into compassion? Can you imagine if billionaires did that? If Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, whoever had that attitude? Oh, I've got $4 billion more than I need ever my whole life, unless I decide to go to space or something. Um, Say, how can I apply this to be compassionate in the world? See, I have a vision of how we can be compassionate in the world. But, money has very little meaning to me aside from that. 10 minutes, that's it for this video.